Hey everyone, my name is Ty and welcome to the channel, especially if you're new. I appreciate you dropping by today. What we're going to be doing today, I'm going to be providing my full review for these fused handlebars by Harley Davidson that I had installed on my 2023 Road Glide Special 120th Anniversary Edition. When I originally purchased this motorcycle, there were a few things that I had the dealership do for me. Had them do heated grips, also had them do docking hardware. We did exhaust. I had some Reinhardt 4.5s put on here, and then I had them put these fused bars on by Harley Davidson. I originally saw them on a Road Glide ST, and it was white sand pearls, beautiful bike. Sat down on the motorcycle, got a feel of them, and I thought, you know what, these might be right for me. So if you're interested in these handlebars, let's start with where can you get them and how much are they? So there's two places you can get them. Number one, you can actually get them on Harley Davidson's website. When I looked at them today, they were sold out. They had like an 11-week back order on them or something like that. So I would just say periodically check, or you can go to your local dealership and see if they can order them for you. Maybe they even have them in stock, or maybe another dealer close by will have them if they can coordinate that for you. Also, let's see, I think the price is, $425.95. So keep that price point in mind. And then if you're able to do the install yourself, that's great. For me, I had to pay for labor, so that's something you'll want to consider as well. Since I purchased this motorcycle, I've released several videos, and sometimes the bars get loved, sometimes they get hate. I'm okay with that either way. But one of the things is you guys ask some very good questions as far as measurements go. So I'm gonna do the best of my ability to capture that on video. We're gonna try to measure some aspects of these handlebars so that you guys can see that in real life. Harley Davidson does have a lot of this information on their website, but some of the terminology they use might be different than the terminology that I use. And so I just think it might be beneficial for everyone to see those measurements in real time. So let's get on that real quick. All right, one of the first things I did is put down a blanket here on the tank just to avoid, if I drop anything, to avoid any scratching, that type of thing, keep the paint nice and pretty. So the first measurement I'm going to measure from all the way to the very top up here to the very bottom. So from here to here is going to be that first measurement. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but we're really close to 16 inches. Again, from the very bottom all the way up to the very top. I don't know if that's the appropriate, accurate way to measure these, but just to give you guys an idea of how tall that is. So if I've got it right down there at the bottom, see, we're almost right at 16 on these bars for the height. So the second question that I get a lot is, how wide are the bars? How far apart are they? So what we're going to do now, I'm going to measure from point A to point B, just across here, to give you guys an idea of what that is. And it looks like we're looking at maybe about 15.25. So about 15.25 inches in this span right here, 15.25. So you just keep that in mind. And then let's go from, another question I get is from the end of the handlebar right here all the way over to the end of this handlebar. So if we're doing that, we're looking at just, we go straight across, we're looking at about 40.5 inches. Again, just going straight across on those. So I hope that gives you some idea of what you're looking at if something like this set of handlebars interests you. When I first sit on the motorcycle, it feels absolutely comfortable. It does feel like that I'm leaning up forward a little bit, but what I have found that corrects that issue, if I ride with better posture, I have a tendency to kind of lean back in the saddle a little bit when I'm riding, to lean back just a little bit. That's not going to work with these. You've really got to accentuate your proper posture and kind of straighten out your back a little bit. Just for reference, to give you guys a little bit of reference, I'm about 5'9", or I am 5'9". And so when I sit up like this and I have better posture, the bars feel very, very comfortable to me. Now, part of the problem is when you go on long rides, you get fatigued a little bit. Now I will tell you this, I do have some shoulder injuries. I've got some metal in my collarbone and my shoulder area on the left side, so I do get really tired right there on a pretty easy basis. So keep that in mind. If you're anything like me, you're probably going to be experiencing that as well. But a little bit of good posture will remedy that and help you get down the road a little bit. So as I mentioned, I do feel like I'm leaning up a little bit with these handlebars. I definitely am leaning up a little bit. The handlebars just don't have a lot of pullback to them. Actually, they have a curvature that almost curves away from the rider. So what I did, I had my local dealer see if we could pull them back a little bit, and there's just not a lot of wiggle room there to pull these bars back. So we did a slight modification, but I could use them to come back a bit more. I just don't know if that's possible with these handlebars. So it's something we're still going to be looking into. But all in all, it's a comfortable seating position, but you might have to adapt your posture, adapt your riding style, the way you sit in the saddle. You might have to adapt that just a little bit. One of the things I did want to mention is right through here, right through the wrist into the thumb area. That does get a little bit sore for me because you're just not perfectly straight like this. You're kind of turned in a little bit. Your wrists are kind of turned in just a little bit like this. And so while that's definitely not going to be comfortable for some, it's not a deal breaker for me, but just keep that in mind. You are not perfectly straight with these bars. Your wrists do turn in just a little bit. And for some, that's going to be a deal breaker, and I totally get that as well. A couple other things I wanted to bring up. Number one, these bars, when it comes to slow maneuvers on your motorcycle, I think it really helps maneuverability and steering of the motorcycle. So far, I have had zero problems with slow maneuverability on the bike. As far as the long-term review goes on these bars, am I going to keep them? Am I going to ditch them and get something else? That's yet to be determined. I think what I've decided I'm going to do is ride with them all riding season this time. So maybe late fall, winter, if I was going to make a switch, I would do it then. Right now, to be honest with you guys, I just don't know. I'm just gonna have to wait and see after a few long rides how I feel. Now, I do know that I just came back from a 1,700 mile trip down to Florida and back, and during that time, there was some points that I was hurting, but I would imagine that doing that much time on a motorcycle, you're gonna feel a little fatigued, no matter what type of bars you have, really. So if you have any questions about these handlebars, please put them in the comments below. I'd love to be able to have a discussion with you about that. In the description of this video, I'll put all the information that I can possibly think of as far as researching if these bars are the right fit for you. And if you want to see these bars in action, then I'm going to put another video up here for you guys to watch of my 1,700 mile trip to Florida. A lot of miles on the road with these handlebars, so you can see them in action on the road. I tell you what, I appreciate you guys spending a little bit of time with me this afternoon. I hope this was helpful. I hope you have an excellent day, and we'll talk to you again soon.